What you're about to listen to is a Bry-Fy production. Comic book reviews. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Bry-Fy podcast. I'm your host, Bry-Fy, your comics guy, and this week we actually have comic books to talk about. I know, it's funny. I call myself Bry-Fy the comics guy, and I rarely talk about comic books here recently. But today, special treat and a special comic book, super special. If you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, or any of my other, well, I guess it's called X now, because X gonna give it to you. If you watch, listen, follow any of my other social media, you might have already gotten the hint or spoiled on what I'm going to be talking about today. And if not, you're a bad friend, and I feel awful. No. If not, definitely check it out, man. So on all social medias, you can find me at Bry-Fy Podcast. That's Bryfy Podcast. And so, yeah, sometimes I post things that I'm like doing, or mostly it's about like what I'm reading, what kind of media I'm consuming, games I'm playing. And so that's just another level of in-depth pop culture. No, I don't know. It's just another way to see what I'm up to and follow what's going on. Because sometimes I'll talk about things here on the podcast, and maybe it's hard for you to visualize or really see what's going on, or I guess visualize the main thing I'm trying to get at here. And so going to like my Instagram or my Threads or my X, don't go to my ex, she's mean. No, I just keep calling it Twitter. It just makes way more sense to me. And so you go there, post pictures or a video or something, and then it makes more sense. Yay! It's an immersive experience here at the Bry-Fy podcast. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun with that, and we got some I was gonna say nifty nerd news. We have like one nifty nerd news, and the rest drama. Just straight, unadulterated drama. And so, yeah, that's what's in store for today. So sit back, relax, kick up your feet. Well, if you're driving, probably don't do that because, one, I guess if you have cruise control, you don't technically need your feet. But, braking sometimes could be more difficult without that. Also, if you get in a car accident, like feet on the dashboard while another vehicle slams into the front of your vehicle and airbags, I just feel like that's a hospital trip you don't want to take. So, yeah, don't kick up your feet. Don't sit back too far and relax. But if you're at home, all systems go, I guess. But anyway, I don't know what's wrong with me. Let's get into the podcast. All right, so up first today in nifty nerd news, we're going to talk about Gal Gadot, more specifically Wonder Woman. And so if you don't know, which I think most of you do, there's been a huge regime change over at Warner Brothers, DC, and their superhero, or the future of their superhero movies. Henry Cavill's out. It looks like Jason Momoa might be out. Like, basically all their actors who have portrayed heroes up till now are like no longer a part of the future, and I don't know what that means for Robert Pattinson's Batman, but it seems like his movies and is it Matt Reeves who's the director, like they're all separate from what the main DC entertainment universe is trying to do. So it's like his character is a weird out of multiverse or out of just continuity limbo. I don't know what the hell you want to say with that, but James Gunn, who is now like the de facto hype man / leader of the DC Entertainment Universe, has said multiple times on Twitter and in other interviews that no one has said Gal Gadot is gone as Wonder Woman. I think it's all been confirmed about like Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, and those were really the only two actors we really care about. Like, it's been confirmed that those two are no longer a part of DC's future, because it seems like they want to go younger, at least from any rumors or any type of things that I've caught wind of online. But when it comes to Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, it seems like they don't want to change. It seems like they like her. They want to continue forward with her, which honestly, I don't mind. It's tough because I feel like you need some sense of connective tissue at this point going for, I don't know, like it's so hard. And the problem is, I think DC still hasn't really figured out what they've been trying to do over there with like their actors and everything. And what makes matters worse is people are now starting to get superhero fatigue. Like, I mean, it's clearly showing now, at least in my opinion. Hell, I'm starting to feel that way. And I love superhero movies, you know? I think also the other thing is the quality. It feels like it's gone down in a lot of ways. It's like, it's more like, it just feels like Disney's not trying anymore. Like they've gotten our money, and you know, to an extent that's kind of true. They've gotten our money, so why try anymore? Because they know we're just gonna go out and watch it because we're sheep now, people. Oh God, I smell skunk. Ugh. That's the one dangers of podcasting while driving, people. Wildlife. Well, I mean that, and then skunks. And anywho, so I don't know, like going forward with DC, I'm kind of like, I'm okay with Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I've never had an issue with her. I've liked her version of Wonder Woman. And in fact, the Wonder Woman movies have been some of the few bright spots of the DC Entertainment Universe to me. But I say that knowing that, you know, Wonder Woman 1984 exists, and it's really not up to par with, I mean, let's face it, the first Wonder Woman was really good and really enjoyable. Second one, not so much. And I'm not really sure how I would prescribe a cure for that movie. I think it just, I don't know, it just felt kind of out of place to me in a way. I don't know. It's weird. I'm here with just feelings and not any ideas, okay? But yeah, so like that's what's going on with DC and Gal Gadot and Wonder Woman going forward. And so we'll see. Talking about DC actors and things like that, Zachary Levi, the guy who Zachary Levi, the guy who plays Shazam, he's been pretty vocal about things here recently. I guess at a comic convention, he talked about pretty much that Hollywood's just putting out trash right now, including, I'm guessing, he didn't actually say it, but it must be referring to his own movie as well, because that recently came out and has done quite poorly in the box office. But then, like, you think about other movies that have come out that have done quite well. I think Oppenheimer's done pretty good. Barbie's done really good. And those are the only two movies that I know that exist currently. Is there anything else out? I mean, I'm sure the Fast and Furious movies are doing good. They keep making them. But, you know, so he's had some choice words to say about Hollywood. Of course, we have the writer strike stuff going on, too. So, you know, there could be some added fuel to that fire. But, you know, when I think about it, I haven't even watched the second Shazam movie, and I have no desire to see that because it just didn't look entertaining. The first Shazam movie looked entertaining in the trailers, and it was entertaining when I watched it. But I've heard, like, nothing but bad things about the Shazam movie. or the second Shazam movie. But maybe I'll go watch it. I got HBO Max. It's on there. What's the harm, right? But yeah, it's been kind of interesting to hear actors vocally get upset with Hollywood. I mean, I understand the reasons. Don't get me wrong. But it's also just kind of weird because, it feels like such a dangerous game, It's like if I'm just openly bad-mouthing my job, I don't think I would have a job. And maybe they won't. I don't know. But then, these are like handsome, talented people. Well, arguably talented people. So who knows? Maybe they got them. They got Hollywood by the balls. But yeah, that's what's going on. Other big drama, it's just drama on drama on drama. So I'm a big sports guy. I like sports. I like football, and fantasy football's coming up soon. So I'm excited about that. I'm in a league. I'm in a huge league, by the way, 14 teams, which is massive, and it makes it very I don't know if you guys play fantasy football at all, but when you have 14 teams in one league, things start to get very difficult, especially when you're drafting players, because as you get lower in the draft, you're really hunting for names now, and you're looking for people who hopefully do well, overperform for their position. Anyway, so football season's coming up, and why do I bring that up? Well, we got to talk about Super Bowl halftime, right? Because that's going to be next February, I believe, or maybe it's been pushed back to March. I don't know. And they planned this event so far in advance that they're already deciding that Lizzo can no longer be a part of the NFL football halftime show. I guess NFL football is redundant. The National Football League's Super Bowl halftime show. Not that she was the person to do it. She was just in the running to be the performing act. So they have other people that they want to perform, and I guess they were trying to decide. But recent things have come out about Lizzo and her treatment of her employees and dancers and stuff that are not very good. Some of them involve sexual harassment, very questionable things, not paying her dancers and stuff, and it's been a ride, from what I can tell. It hasn't been good for Lizzo, who seemed to have nothing but positive energy and positive vibes, and now it's coming out not all that great, which I don't know, man. It hurts. It hurts, especially because I dig some of her music. My son loves one of her songs. What is that one? It's about damn time. I don't know why I had to go there to get it's about damn time. In a minute, I'm gonna need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up. Feeling okay. Anyway, yeah, my son loves that song. What is that song called? I need 2 shots in my cup. Wanna get up, wanna get down. I know how the song goes, and I know the words, but I just don't know the name of it. I can't. Anyway, so yeah, kind of sucks because I kind of like her music, man, and it's always your heroes, right? Your heroes are the enemy, but are the villains, and that sucks. But so yeah, that's been some crazy news drama, and she's obviously denying these allegations, but quite a few people are coming forward, and past employees, and a lot of people are coming out yeah, she's kind of a dick, kind of an asshole. Same with Beyonce. They've been talking about how she's kind of a dick, kind of an asshole. And then she has these tickets that went on sale that are music only tickets, where you go to her live, you go to a live show where she's performing live, but the tickets don't let you see the live concert, not on TVs, not in not the stage. They're literally only tickets to only hear the show. And they're over $100, which to me is fucking insane. I don't understand this. And like, there's another one that I want to be like, come on, I look up to you. You guys are from H-Town, Lizzo, Beyonce, and you're making us look bad. I mean, I'm not actually from Houston, but I lived there and I visit there, frequent there. I'm within like Houston limits. Like that's the closest major metropolitan area that I identify with. And so kind of hurts. The last bit of nifty nerd news / drama outrage comes from a recent allegation, I guess is the word. Although I would feel like this would be recent actual truth because of how court and legal documents work. But it turns out Michael Oher, who is the football player that the movie Blindside is based on, and if you haven't seen Blindside, it's a really moving tale about a family that adopts a young black kid who needs help in education but excels at football. And of course, you don't pass, you don't play. They also help him to really understand the game of football and to eventually, he comes from like very extremely humble beginnings to making it to the NFL and being like a world-class famous NFL lineman. And Michael Oher, real player, was pretty good. I guess he's retired now. He doesn't play no more. But it's come out recently that he's discovered that the adoption papers that the family signed to adopt him were actually conservatorships. A conservatorship is basically a power of attorney, meaning they can make financial, medical, and like legal decisions on your behalf without like your consent. Basically, they have power over you. And as it turns out, Michael Oher has been very vocal against the movie The Blind Side in the past. And I remember seeing stuff about this when the movie came out. He was like, this movie says tells people I'm dumb. I wasn't dumb. And they didn't teach me to play football. I play I've gone down the rabbit hole. He was already an all-star athlete before the family, I can't remember their names, found this kid, or their kids went to school with him, and that's how they knew about him and knew about his situation and chose to take him over, because obviously they didn't adopt him because there's no adoption papers. But it gets even worse because as Michael Oher's claimed, the family told him that because of his age when they did these documents, I think he was 18 or 17, but they told him because of his age he had to sign what was called a conservatorship, but it was essentially the same thing as an adoption paper, which is not true. Like, anyone who knows well, I guess it's difficult because, we don't typically deal with these type of things in normal day-to-day life. I only ever had to see this kind of stuff because I worked at a bank, and so I saw this a lot of the time. And also, I came across them a few times as I was a 911 dispatcher for different things that happened. But conservatorships, not adoption. Like, that is not what that means. It means basically I have power over you, which is really awful. And as it turns out, they made a lot of decisions for Michael Oher without Michael Oher knowing about said decisions. And one of the big things, as it turns out, is for the movie The Blind Side, where they took a lot of liberties on his story and how it plays out, and also did not pay him for that. Like, he got nothing for those movies. Maybe he got a pat on the back. Maybe he got a familial hug. I don't know if he understood at the time that he wasn't getting paid for those movies. Like, I got to do another deep dive on that. But apparently through documents that have been found, the family and their children, like their birth children, all receive royalty from the Blind Side movies, but not Michael Orr. He just got CTE, basically. Oh, I don't know if he does or not, but, he went to the NFL where he risked his body and potentially could have brought serious harm to himself, while this family reaped the benefits of him and claimed him as their own, while clearly not truly accepting him, in my opinion, which is kind of crazy and makes it look so much worse. Like, I don't know. And then I saw a picture of the family with him, and they look like the kind of people that would trick a young black kid into believing like they're part of the family just so they could financially benefit from them. Like, they look like bad people to me, which is awful. But that's been like the huge drama news that's been going on. That one has spread like, poor choice of words, wildfire. And people have been very upset about that. Also, since I even brought up the horrible term wildfire, if you haven't heard about what's going on over in Hawaii and I believe Maui, one of the big islands, there's been a huge fire, and it's pretty much wiped out a whole civilization over there. Like, it's been awful, man, seeing the images from that and things. And I'm sorry to bring it down a little bit for that, but my heart goes out to those people and the families and everything, because that's terrifying, man. Giant fire like that and nowhere to run and losing everything like that's horrible, man. So you guys can look online. I don't have any links to share with you on where to donate or anything, but check it out online. I'm sure there's places to donate. So, yeah, sorry for bringing it down a little bit, but that's it for the Nifty Nerd News, and let's move on to the final thing that we have to talk about this week, the comic book for review. Hey, everyone, welcome back after the little break we had there. Now we're going to get into the comic book that I wanted to talk to you guys about this week. Spoiler alert, it is a slap-happy good time. It's fun as fuck. It's one of my favorite silly comics to read because of, it's just silly. And I realized I try to build this up as oh, what's he going to talk about? Knowing damn well that I put the title of the comic in the title of the episode, so you already know if you even pay attention. I don't even know if you pay attention to my episode titles, but if you don't, then yay, it's actually a surprise for you. And if you do, well, it really takes the piss out of what I'm doing now. Anywho, this week we are talking about Shirtless Bear Fighter Volume 2. So Volume 1 came out in 2017. Shirtless Bear Fighter is written and drawn by Jody Lehup and Sebastian Gerner. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And it's published by Image Comics. It is exactly what it sounds like. It is a man who fights shirtless, sometimes naked, and he fights bears. And the story is just crazy. He was raised by a family of bears, which I find kind of interesting because he hates bears. There's a lot that happens to get you to Volume 2, and I don't want to spoil Volume 1 too much, but he's decided to work along with the police now, or the Fuzz is what they're called. So, everything is, over the top, hilarity. They don't try to, fill it in as, oh, he works with the NYPD or anything. The police are just called the Fuzz, and it says it on their shirts. He has a guy who helps him in a science lab called the Science Lab Guy, and so it's very vague action comic-y, old school action cartoon type adventures that's a little more adult. Like I said, there's it's blurred, but there's nudity in it, but it's blurred nudity, and a ton of bear puns out the ass. That's how Shirtless Bear Fighter rolls. And it's funny. I've enjoyed this book for what it is, which is silly, action-packed, and just fights on fights, which is hilarious. The story in Volume 2 with Shirtless Bear Fighter is we go into the backstory of Shirtless and why he is the way he is, or like how he's come to be, because in the present time he's pretty much lost it. He's kind of like dealing with his own personal struggles of not living up to what he thinks he should be, or what his quote-unquote father thinks actual father thinks he should be. And that's a big reveal in this comic of who Shirtless Bearfighter's father is. But so with that, he just has like this unchecked rage against bear kind. And so he's just going throughout the city, finding bears, minding their own business, because at this point in the comic, bears have, integrated into society as normal, like, respectable bear people would. And he does, like, pretty much what any entitled white 35 man would do. He just immediately starts beating the people who don't look like him. Which, wow, very timely. Anywho, so, all that's happening. But in the background, there is an evil organization trying to resurrect the bear god Ursa Major, which, if you are an astrologist, are love like, your star sign and who you're going to date and how your lucky day is going to be. Ursa Major is actually a big one of those star signs, and I think Ursa Minor is another one. Both are important characters in this comic book and play an important role because they turn out to be actual deities that can interact with Earth, which is kind of fun, and they play off that really well. You learn Shirtless Bearfighter's mother, because that's his actual name. He doesn't have like a name like John, and Shirtless Bearfighter is his nickname. No, his actual name is Shirtless Bearfighter, which is very interesting and funny, by the way. Like I said, that's this kind of comic book. So through the story, he ends up losing his job at the Fuzz, has to go work for a knockoff Chuck E. Cheese where it's a bear-y cheese or something kind of like that. And of course, Vietnam flashback, but with bears, so he ends up destroying the mechanical bear, scaring all the children, getting fired from that job. So he's like down in his luck, at the lowest of the low, gets arrested, and gets put into like Bear Max prison where all like the super villains that he's had to fight against his entire life are at. And not just bear kind, but humans as well. Like there's like, I think the logger, who is like this lumberjack, evil logging tycoon type person. There's the Fatal Fury, which is a Fatal Furry. That's the actual name, which is like an evil furry person. Like, I mean, like, the cosplay furry people. And it's kind of hot, actually. Like, I feel like that opened up a new thing for me. I don't know. Shirtless Bearfighter is a weird comic, and now I have weird feelings. There's like a bunch of villains. Of course, they're all upset because, hey, you threw us in the slammer, and now you're in with us. Fresh meat. That kind of shit. It's very cliche stuff. While Shirtless is trying to deal with that, evil organization makes a clone of Shirtless Bearfighter, making him evil Shirtless Bearfighter, who is also evil shirtless and pantsless Bearfighter. So he just fights pretty much naked the whole time, except at one point he finds a denim vest and now just fights with only a denim vest. No dick out and everything. Pretty funny stuff. And as it all develops, the Fuzz is starting to realize, maybe it wasn't really all Shirtless's fault. Maybe there are other factors at play that are going on. They're starting to realize that the whole Ursa Major thing and the evil bear prophecy is about to come true. And they realize that they need Shirtless. And so they've made a huge mistake. Like, they should have never taken him to jail. They should have listened to him, maybe got him some help, because honestly, that's what this guy needs, like in reality. And so they try to get him busted out. They finally find him, but by the time they get him into the fight, it's already too late. Evil Shirtless Bearfighter and the evil bear organization have resurrected Ursa Major, who has now come into Earth and is now going to enslave the human race, and now the bear race will reign supreme. And so now we have to go underground. Shirtless Bearfighter's gone into hiding while evil pantless Bearfighter has been doing Ursa Major's bidding, because Ursa Major is actually looking for something. He's missing a part of himself that he needs to truly take over the world, where not only where they will enslave humans, but now with Ursa Major's true power, he'll be able to turn humans into bears, making bears the only race or species that exists on planet Earth. So the Fuzz and the gang and Shirtless Bear Fighter, along with the hillbilly wizard, I can't remember his real name, but he's literally a pig wizard who's a hillbilly, along with the help of Ursa Minor, who doesn't agree with what Ursa Major's doing, are all trying to travel to find ways to rise up and stop Ursa Major from accomplishing his final goal. And eventually there's a giant revolution, a revolt, and they're about to actually make progress when, lo and behold, things are not going to work out the way that they believe. There are too many bears to fight against, and Hillbilly runs away and ends up running away to alternate dimensions, where he finds out there are there are a multiverse of shirtless bear fighters out there, male, female, legless, not Legolas, but legless, like no legs, not Legolas, the cool archer shirtless bear fighter, although he might exist in another world. And so he ends up, instead of being a coward, being the cavalry, when he gathers all the multi-dimensional shirtless bear fighters, brings them back into our world to help overthrow Ursa Major and his bear army. But once again, it appears that they are too late to stop Ursa Major, and that he's going to accomplish his goal of turning everyone into bears. And lo and behold, I make a crucial mistake in believing that this was only going to be a 6-issue series, when in fact there are going to be 7 issues of Shirtless Bear Fighter. So I have not read the final issue of Shirtless Bear Fighter. So how's it going to end? Is Shirtless going to be able to save the day? Are the multi-dimensional Shirtless Bear Fighters enough to take on the bear army, when I clearly thought one Shirtless Bear Fighter was enough to take on a whole army of bears? I could be wrong. Who knows? It's fun. It's crazy. There's a Shirtless Bear Fighter where he is just a dick, but his penis is the upper body of Shirtless Bear Fighter, and it's all kinds of weird censored and makes no sense, but it's hilarious and stupid. Like I said, this is not a book for kids. This is definitely a book for adults that just plays on your nostalgia of like 90s, late 80s, early 90s cartoon action hero type shit. It's fun. I enjoy it. Even despite, it's not a great story. It's not meant to have a great story. It's just meant to be fun. And that's what I like about it, man. And I can't wait to read the last issue of Shirtless Bear Fighter. I am dying to know when it comes out and when I can get my hands on it. But hey, if you're looking for comic books and you don't want to have a heavy read where it's like, oh God, like this makes me feel like feelings and makes me think about stuff. No, you just want to say, hey, I just want to see a dude who has an amazing beard, no shirt, and ripped out the ass and just beating up on bears. This is your book, man. This is the book you need to read. Shirtless Bear Fighter. Check out Volume 1 first. It's a lot of fun. But you don't need to read Volume 1 to start Volume 2, which is equally as fun. Anyway, as far as like a rating goes for this, 1, I love the artwork in here. It's always fun. The bear puns. He fights all kinds of bears. We're not talking just like forest bears and other types of bears like pandas. I don't even know if pandas are truly bears now that I think about it. But, he fights all types of bears, including the water bear, the microscopic, whatever it is, entity that we call the water bear. He fights a gummy bear, like evil gummy bears. So like any type of iteration of bears, like Care Bears maybe, or not trademarked Care Bears, but bears that have belly logos and different colors, so I think they're called the self-care bears in the comic book, which is a really funny thing. It's actually a funny little storyline that happens in the comic, but it's a lot of fun, man. The artwork's bright, it's colorful, I enjoy it. Story is entertaining, and that's all you could really ask for a comic book like this. As far as the rating goes, definitely gets a positive charge out of me. Check it out. I think it's a lot of fun. It doesn't cost too much to read these books, so all in all, it's a good time if you're looking to get into comic books. That being said, that's really all I got to talk about this week, man. I wanted to talk about the comic book, talked about the drama that's been going on in pop culture here recently. But not too many other nifty nerd news that I have for you. Maybe we'll have some more nifty nerd news next week. Maybe I'll focus on that. I don't know. It's going to be difficult, man. Like I said, fantasy football is about to start, so I'm going to be pulled in so many different directions because I'm going to be trying to pay attention to a lot of sports news and information, which I know you guys are just dying to hear about. But maybe I'll talk about, there's a football player. What is his name? Is it something Williams, maybe? Man, I can't remember his name. I got him on TikTok somewhere, or I have TikToks of him somewhere. Loves anime, loves nerd shit, loves Pokemon, stuff like that. He's one of my favorite NFL players because he's not afraid to just let like his nerd flag fly while doing interviews, like after playing a professional NFL game. Like he even talks about like, yo man, this is gonna take a while because like I got Pokemon to play. Like new fucking Scarlet Violet just came out, man. Like you're wasting my time. I could be a master right now, but you're wasting my time with these stupid football these puny, like football's just a hobby. No. Or no, he actually says in an interview like football's my job. Like that's what I do. At the end of the day, this is my job. So I got to unwind from my job, and like, you know, anime, like nerd stuff, that's how I unwind. That's like how I survive. Like that's how I keep from being angry all the time. I love the dude. Like he's a lot of fun. I think, is he with the Detroit Lions now, or is he with the Saints? I can't remember what team he's playing with. You know, he's gone from team to team, but super awesome guy. I enjoy his interviews because they're really funny. But that's it, guys. That's all that I got for you this week. Hopefully you enjoyed the podcast, and we will see you guys next week. Bry-Fy out.